Hello, Internet, and welcome back to 5 Minutes on Heavy Questions, a series where I take 5 minutes to talk about some heavy, more adult things that happen in the service industry. I do this because when I was first coming up as a new bartender in the service industry, I would often find myself encountering things in situations that I didn't know how to navigate, and they made me feel uncomfortable. And I often wish that there was a resource I could go to that would give me some perspective, or at the very least, show me that I wasn't the only person feeling these things. Now, today we're going to be talking about substance availability in the industry. And if that bums anyone out, I totally get it. Maybe check out some of my other videos. But I think it's important to talk about. Also, because this is unscripted, there might be a few swears that pop out. Sorry. But without much more preamble, let's get into it. So let's get something out of the way early. If you're going to be tending bar, substances, whether that be alcohol or more illicit substances, will always be available to you. I want to say that out front because I don't think it should be as stigmatized as it is. And I also want to say that as a warning to any people coming up in the industry, maybe they just started bartending, you need discipline and self-control to do our industry well and to do it responsibly. And it would do you well, if you've never encountered situations where there are drugs around, to be prepared for that eventuality. The first time you find out your coworker is doing a key bump in the bathroom because they didn't sleep last night, if your first response is to run to your manager and try and say, "Oh, Jimmy's in the bathroom doing cocaine, what do we do about it?" You might want to knock before you enter the office, because that'll give enough time for your manager to hide their cocaine, and then they can act all indignant. I say that, and it might sound like I'm joking, but I'm not. Like, that is the level of availability and substance use in the service industry. And I say substance use and not substance abuse because the service industry has taught me many things, but among them is a certain level of understanding for people who want to indulge in vices that I don't indulge in. And absolutely, there is a lot of substance abuse in our industry, but I think that video deserves its own space. So for today, we're just going to talk about the availability of substances because I think that's a good starting off point for these types of discussions. Now, not only will you have to be prepared for finding out people are perhaps indulging in vices in your immediate vicinity on staff, it also might shock you if you're unprepared the first time someone asks you where to buy drugs. You have to be prepared for that coming from the customer, which might sound a little strange because, truth be told, I would be the only person in a building that is interested in calling the police on someone. I am a representation of the company itself. And yet, people come directly to me and ask where they can buy drugs. It sounds crazy. You wouldn't go to Target, find a dude in a red shirt and say, "Hey man, do you party? Are you cool?" But people will walk up to you and ask. And that can strike you as strange, but you should be prepared for what your answer is. Now, it doesn't strike me as strange anymore, but that's because I came to a realization recently. Well, not recently, maybe a year or two ago. And that is, I am, for better or worse, a drug dealer. I sell a poison to a group of people that changes their mood, that makes them unable to drive, operate heavy machinery, give consent, walk in a straight line. I mean, for better or for worse, that's what I do. I sell drugs. And the first time you realize that, it can cause a certain amount of emotional dissonance, certainly. It can cause you to feel kind of like you're a fake in some ways when you're attempting to live your life without indulging in certain vices, and yet you realize that you are contributing to other people's vices. And truth be told, I don't actually have an answer for that. Every day that I go to work, I still wrestle with that fact. But I think that talking about it and getting it out there in the world is useful. And I'm hoping that me talking about it and me starting the discussion will allow other people to talk about it as well. Because I don't think the surface industry is perfect by any means. And I think when you enter into it trying to be responsible, you'll get a certain amount of pushback. But if more people talked about it, we might be able to change it for the better and decide collectively what the better might look like. So, I think that's where we'll end it. Thank you so much. I hope you liked watching this video. If this type of discussion is something that you think deserves to be out in the world, maybe like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. It kind of feels weird saying that after such for me, an important subject matter, but gotta pay the bills some way. Well, I've been your host, your personal bartender, and your friend. And remember, if it ever looks like your mug is half empty, that might mean you're just not drinking your tea fast enough. Cheers. Hey Internet, I just want to jump back in and tell you about this awesome organization that contacted me a couple days ago. They're called Beer City Recovery. And their mission is to create a safe recovery space for people who are dealing with substance abuse issues and depression from within the service industry. They're located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and if you're in the area, I would strongly suggest reaching out, even just to familiarize yourself with them. But even if you're not from the Southwest Michigan area, they have a vibrant online community that you can reach out to and be a part of and feel that sense of community. And I'm going to put their website and their contact information, all that good stuff, in the link dump below. And to further that, if anyone out there has other resources that might be helpful to people in the service industry and hospitality industry that might be suffering from some of the situations that I talk about on my 5 minutes on heavy questions, send those links to me and I will always put them in the link dump below my videos that deal with the appropriate situations. All right. Thanks, and thank you so much for reaching out, Beer City Recovery. Cheers.